Hey guys, today I'm going to be playing with this brand new Tamron 25-200mm f2.8 to 5.6. This is a very versatile lens. I don't know if I call it a super zoom, it's an 8x zoom, but certainly a very versatile, convenient travel zoom. And the natural comparison is going to be against the Sigma 20-200mm, which I also just reviewed. So today you're getting a full review as well as a bit of a comparison video. I'm Chris Niccolls, this is PetaPixel. Let's battle out these travel zooms. As usual, Calgary is getting really cold. It is a chilly day today, and I've got to walk around with this camera out in my hand, and my fingers are freezing. And what I really wished I had was a compact point-and-shoot camera that I could put right in my pocket and hold, pull it, shoot, and then put it away and keep my hands warm. So I think what I'm going to do is go to KH.com, and I'm going to sell this camera and this Tamron lens, even though it doesn't belong to me. That doesn't matter. I'm going to sell it to KH.com because I know that the experts there are going to give me an online quote that's going to be fair and accurate, and then I don't have to mess around with trying to find a seller online and all that. And, you know, are they going to show up? Are they going to just stab me and take all my stuff? Who knows? But KH.com, I know I'm safe and it's fair. So you should definitely go check that out. If you're looking to move some used gear and you need a little bit of cash, or you want to trade up to something new, go to KH.com. They're PetaPixel's official pre-owned camera gear partner. Okay, so today's not really going to be like a side-by-side battle. I mean, I'm here to review the Tamron 25-200mm, but I still think I should give you guys comparisons as we go through between the two lenses, because it's really going to help you decide which one might be better for you. And honestly, it wouldn't be fair anyways, because I took the Sigma to Aizu, Japan. I mean, streets of Tokyo, beautiful landscapes, lots of fall colors, cool stuff to shoot. Whereas here for the Tamron, we're back in Calgary. This is our autumn. This is our fall colors. All the leaves are gone. Everything looks dead and frozen, and it's going into hibernation and all. And so I hope you guys like brown for the next 5 months, but we will persevere. But I am going to review this, and I'm going to start off with handling next. So the Tamron 25-200 absolutely gets the compact design that you want in travel lens. It's very convenient, very easy to carry around. 67mm filter throat on the front, of course, because it's Tamron. So despite this lens being a brighter aperture, it's actually got a smaller front diameter than the Sigma. I bet you Tamron could make a 400mm f2 lens and they'd still somehow find a way to make it 67mm filter thread. But I like that. I like that it's convenient. It's always the same. Nice zoom ring, very smooth. I do like that we've got a customizable button here on the side, and we do have a locking switch to lock it at the 25mm mark, so if you walk around it doesn't creep on you. But I do actually prefer the Sigma's lock, where I can at any moment just exert the zoom and snap it out of place, whereas this I have to remember to actually unlock it before it'll let me do that. Now we do have a manual focus ring here as well, although it's a little bit loose feeling. It doesn't have the resistance that I would like to have, but it works. What I don't get though is an autofocus manual focus selector switch. And again, that's not the end of the world. I can go into my menu and I can change it, but I do find that slows me down a little bit, especially in comparison when I'm shooting the Sigma and this. I do like just being able to click that on and off, especially if I'm doing macro stuff. Otherwise, we've got a USB-C port here on the side for any firmware updates and any changes we want to make to the lens, and it does have weather sealing. See this? This is sad. I'm going to take a picture of it because it's making me feel something. But this is what happens when the Blue Jays lose. It was a great game. It was a really great series. It's just, it's not right, man. It's not fair. It's our turn. I mean, there's some blue in it, some red in it, some pink in it for you, Jordan. That's about the best I can do today. This one I call Sweden. Yes, yes, except that country's great. It's not trash, it's wonderful. Okay, this is the photo I'm gonna call Sweden, because they've got glorious birds in Sweden. Just lovely country full of birds, so nice. Nothing trash like it all about it. Okay, so the main advantage with the Tamron 25-200mm, especially in comparison to other super zoom and travel zooms like the Sigma, is it's going to have a relatively fast aperture. But I say relatively because we are still talking about somewhat slow apertures. But we get f2.8 at the 25mm range. I mean, that's nice. That's going to be like 2/3 of a stop brighter than what we get with the Sigma at a similar kind of range. But the curve kind of falls off pretty quick, just like the Sigma does. By the time I get to 100mm, I'm at f5.6, and then I only have a 1/3 stop advantage over the Sigma. I find that on a yucky day like today, where it's all cloudy and overcast, you know, if I'm trying to maintain fairly fast shutter speeds, again, no image stabilization on this lens, I'm relying on the body's IBIS, I'm consistently going into that 2500, 3200, 4000, 5000 ISO range, and of course that's not great for image quality, but it is giving me a slight advantage over what I would see on this Sigma 20-200mm. The other thing it's going to do is change my depth of field and bokeh, so let's talk about that next. Okay, time to talk about bokeh on the Tamron 25-200mm, and you know what, like, look at the specular highlights. You can see that there's still a bit of a soap bubble effect, a little bit of an onion ring effect, but I will say that it's cleaner looking than the Sigma. Couple that with the fact that we are going to get a slightly wider aperture, and that means you can get a little bit more shallow depth of field out of this lens than you could with the Sigma 20-200mm. And I still think the background has a bit of a harsh look, but it's a bit more pleasant than the Sigma. So this is really good. I mean, this is playing to the strengths of this lens, having that wider aperture, a little bit shallower depth of field. I still do not consider this a lens that I would use for a lot of bokeh stuff, but the backgrounds don't have as harsh a look as the Sigma does. So Tamron loved to use VXD voice coil motors, which are all the rage right now, and of course, as usual, does a great job here. Quiet, smooth, snappy focusing from near to far, no issues for any sort of like travel, street photography, even the occasional wildlife shot. This is going to do a great job. So the Tamron 25-200 does give us a really nice versatile, almost macro capability. We're getting 1 to 1.9, I mean 1 to 2 half-size kind of macro reproduction out of this thing. The issue is it does it at 25mm, and that can be fun when you want to push the background far away, but when I'm trying to just get nice and close up, you can see that actually my minimum distance is so small. My working distance, I'm effectively millimeters away from actually touching the object. There it is there, and there's my shot there. So I'm blocking a lot of the light getting onto the scene, creating a lot of shadow, and if I then go to more telephoto ranges, will I lose that close-up macro capability? But this is where the Sigma's got a real advantage, because as you can see here at 28mm, the Sigma's giving me the exact same macro reproduction ratio. It's basically the same photo with the same issues, no working distance blocking the scene, but I can then go to 85mm, I can get the exact same macro shot, but now with more working distance, more usable distance away, not blocking light, and so I really far prefer the Sigma for when I want to do macro work. It's just more versatile. This all being said, yes, it's still nice to have the option on the Tamron to get close when I need to. I just wish I could get even more versatility at more telephoto ranges. So just a little backstory for you here. We were driving to get to our location today, and the sun was just peeking out, and I'm like, Jordan, I think we should pull over and just get a flare test right now, because who knows? And yeah, I'm glad I did, because me, man. I mean, that is our sky today. You know, fun fact, Calgary is actually the sunshiniest place in Alberta, which is the sunshiniest place in all of Canada, but just not today. Anyways, I think I was talking about flare, so let's get to that. The Tamron actually has very good performance. I've always liked the Tamron coatings. They do a great job. You can see here, minimal loss of contrast. I mean, we're still getting good detail, not a lot of ghosting, and we stop the lens down. That ghosting is incredibly minor, and I would say this is absolutely better performance than we got out of the Sigma 20-200. So flare is a really good result. Wow, I think we got to give some gratitude to the trembling aspens, just the last tree to hold out in fall as we approach winter. They just keep their leaves, just the last vestiges of deciduosity. Anyways, let's get to the test charts to talk about sharpness. I usually like to start with the wide angles first. Let's take a look. 25mm in the center. Actually, you can see awesome results. Very good detail. I'm happy with this at f2.8. When I stop down to f5.6, there's maybe a slight improvement in contrast, but that's about it. It's really nice results. We go to the corners at f2.8. There's a little bit of vignetting, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be. And then again, stopping down to 5.6, just a little bit more contrast and sharpness overall. But I'm very happy with the detail here at the wide angle. And I would say, in comparison to the Sigma, very similar results. Sharpness is basically on par. The Sigma 20mm does have a bit more vignetting, which is to be expected, and definitely more distortion that has to be corrected, but overall, pretty good results here. But now we go to the 200mm, and looking at the centers here in our test charts, at f5.6, good detail, absolutely, decent contrast. When we stop the aperture down, we do see that improve slightly for sure. But again, let's take a look here at the corners at f5.6, not bad. Stopping down though does help overall. However, when I compared it to the Sigma, I will say that the Sigma just had better clarity and contrast at 200mm in comparison to the Tamron. And so look, overall, I'm actually very happy with the sharpness that I got on the Tamron all throughout its focal range. Remember, I'm shooting this on an A7R5, 60 megapixels. I mean, it's really demanding of the lenses, and both the Tamron and the Sigma are actually really holding up very well. I'd happily shoot this Tamron 25-200mm wide open and not feel like I was really missing out on a lot. Stopping down will help a little bit if I can afford the light loss, but frankly, a really good result anywhere throughout the focal range. Well, I know we didn't have as vivid a location this time looking at this Tamron 25-200, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy using the lens. Quite the contrary. This is a very nice performer. I mean, it's got a versatile lens range for wandering around the streets and just getting grab shots wherever I want to get it. The 25mm is a nice wide angle for things like landscapes, and anytime I just want to get that more exaggerated wide angle perspective. And this lens is absolutely sharp. I mean, I like the optical performance. The flare resistance is good. There's lots of nice things here. But we have to consider the Sigma 20-200mm. When we finished that video, we said, oh, well, we're going to do the Tamron here pretty soon. We're going to obviously have to compare them. And I think it really comes down to this. I mean, which one are you going to prefer better? The Tamron does absolutely have an advantage when it comes to bokeh, flare resistance, and just overall light gathering capability. But frankly, I consider neither of these lenses shallow depth of field lenses. Most of the time, I'm going to get plenty in focus. And so I don't feel like the Tamron's advantage is that big an advantage. And frankly, I think the Sigma just gives me more lens for the money. I like having the more versatile macro capability. I like having that 20mm wide angle coverage. I mean, that's a substantial difference. And I do also like that the Sigma gives me more accoutrements with the lens, like autofocus, manual focus selector switch, or being able to just click it out of the locking switch without having to fumble with the locking switch. So we've got lenses that are basically the same size, the same weight, will be the same burden to carry around with you and travel with, but I feel like the Sigma just gives me that little bit more. It is slightly more expensive, we do have to consider that, but they're still both within the same realm of cost that I think it'll really come down to your personal preference. Do you really want that extra light, or does the Sigma with all of its other improvements entice you more? I'll let you guys decide that for yourselves. Hopefully this video has given you a good idea about the clarity in that regard. So leave your comments below, let us know what you think. We always appreciate that. And do consider getting a PetaPixel.com membership. It helps us out in a big way. You get to go to the Moment store and get cash back. You get discounts on our merch store and on Cage.com. And you can also peruse the website ads-free and download JPEG and RAWs from all our reviews to evaluate for yourself. And hey, join us on the podcast. You can catch it on this exact same channel or listen to it on all your favorite podcasting apps. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon with more on PetaPixel.